Hey, folks, good morning. Check. John Duffin here with Duffin Media. Welcome to another episode of Your Monday Motivation, where I get to be with my co-host, my partner, superstar lender, Chad Levine, and we get to kickstart your week. Good morning, Chad Levine. How you doing? And good morning, Facebook land.
We are live in the rubber room. For those who don't know, the rubber room is where the nut balls go, and the walls are padded with the rubber, so you can bounce. You can safely bounce yourself off the walls.
Folks, if you're old enough to remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, well, first off, that makes you old like me. But if you are, that's what we're talking about.
Stanley Kubrick.
Right. Oh, see, you know.
Stanley Kubrick, and then is he also Clockwork Orange?
Yes, absolutely. God,
that was Mr. Jack Nicholson. Is it Nichol's son?
Jack Nicholson. Yeah. Correct. Nice, man. Nice. I love people that remember.
That's my cinema trivia for the day.
That's damn good. And listen, day after post Oscars and the Oscar party, Chad Levine, I'm guessing you were at Elton John's Oscar party late last night. I was good, of course.
I flew back this morning to be on the show.
And folks, that's why we're starting a half hour late. Chad's just got here. And Elton John won't throw that party without Chad Levine. And my mission is to make sure I get an invite for next year. So anyway, we are here and we get the privilege, like I said again, to kickstart your week. And for us today, we've got something interesting in terms you're hearing mindset. And we get it. You need it. I'm reading a great book right now, folks. Shameless plug for Lewis Howes's The Greatness Mindset. And it's a reminder today that it ain't just about thinking. It ain't just about the sense of, I think I'll do this, or I will channel myself to do that. There's a little more to it than that. Because sometimes you can hit a wall if all you're doing is thinking. So should we throw the 2-minute up in terms of overall?
Yeah, and the only thing I'll do, like I always guide you guys, John is the eloquent one, and I'm the translator. So we always go with, don't hit that yet, Jason.
Reclaiming my time. Anyway, go ahead.
I just want to set the tone for today. Okay, so the theme for today came, and I swear it's always what I'm feeling. You never know. It's always what you're feeling. So today what I was feeling is the ability to control which thought you're going to go with, right? Because mindset is only as good as the thought which you're holding on to. And I'm sitting there last night. This weekend was very restless for me. Okay. Very restless. And I'm always transparent and open in these shows. Right. It's a very uncertain time for a lot of people because of inflation. Right. And I'm not going to go into the economic reasons, but you have yin and you have yang. You have the devil and you have the happy guy. Right. Mm-hmm. On one side, your mind is freaking the F out. Right. What do I do? How do I make money? How do I pay my bills? What's going on? And on the other side, it's this guy that's like, I don't care what you put in front of me. I'm going to literally destroy the wall. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to make everyone my bitch. Right. So it's which guy, right? Which guy gets the lead in your mind? Yep. And it's time, Bruno. It's
Bruno Marcinkowski.
By the way, excellent pronunciation. But that's it. I set the tone. Yeah. Bring up his timer. Take me off. It's John time, guys. It's John.
Listen, I love hearing from Chad. Do it. But either way, I'm ready. Hey, we put up a quote today. So my quote, which is from Lewis Howes. I just held up that book, The Greatness Mindset. The quote of the day: vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is a nightmare. So
love it.
Tying into a great Facebook post earlier today from Chad Levine. Follow him. The fact of the matter is, as Chad was just saying, figuring out which thought I'm going to go with. And by the way,
Jason,
that's okay. The third choice, by the way, folks, in this is do nothing. And that becomes the problem, right? That sense of what thought are you going to go with? Oh my God, my business is not moving as quickly as I like. Oh my God, I'm king of the world in some delusional sense. Oh my God, I think I'll lose weight today. Oh my God, I think I'll have a cheesecake. A lot of I think. So that sense of, number one, what are you anchoring your actions to? Because really, the thought process, the mindset is simply a way to get yourself to focus to do something, right? I think I'll have a cheesecake today and I'll start my meal plan on Tuesday is a thought and an action, and it's awful. And I've done it. I'm there. Here's what I'm thinking for me in terms of how do I channel my actions, which is I've got a very clear goal right now to make certain that key business people know exactly what I do. How do I do that? I'm thinking, right? How do I promote myself on social media? What message do I convey? Who am I going to speak to specifically? What companies? What leaders? And then what is the message I want to convey to all of them? But the key with all of that is, so there's your thought process for me, for one thing I want to do, right? And then it's, okay, now execute. Now execute, because vision without action is just a dream. I think I'll call these business leaders. That's the problem, folks. Anchor yourself to something. The simpler, the better. Bruno Marcinkowski's post, it's time for us to take action.
There goes the bell. By the way, John, the cheesecake reference,
right?
It's like you just know me so well. It's like, I got to tell you, and this is just a plug for the Cheesecake Factory.
Do it. Yes.
Peanut butter cream they put on their cheesecake. Holy, but peanut butter cream is mind blowing. We could do a show on peanut butter cream.
We'll invent like 12 step rooms for peanut butter cheesecake. With big spoons in their mouth.
It's called the 65 step rule. In trash bags.
Right. But there you go, brother.
John, I love this quote, right? I love it. So let's break it down. I always call it I feel like it's like we're ESPN. We're the ESPN of thinking. And we just like do like the clock on the side.
Oh my God, like Sports Center.
Yeah, Sports Center, right.
Yeah.
So here's what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what made me think about this.
Right.
Your mind will run wild. And there are so many times, and I am guilty, guys. I am as guilty as everyone else. That mind will start going, and the heart starts beating, and the head starts hurting, and you're starting to freak out, and you're trying to find ways to distract and divert to get that thought out, right? And how do you allow the positive to overcome the negative? How do you allow yourself to not want to stand still, be frozen and paralyzed by fear, worry, and anxiety, right? And not have that confident, go-getting, wanting to get out there sort of mindset, overcome all of that. And I think that's kind of what I want to do today, John. I want to give people, and by the way, I feel bad for John. Sometimes there's no preparation sometimes, and today's being one of them. I'm sure if I had told John this earlier, he would have had like a list of things you could do. So I'm going to put him on the spot and say, John, when you're in the mental battle of positive or negative and dark and light, of discouragement and positivity, et cetera, what things are you doing to shift the mind to the right side of it?
I'm so glad you asked. So literally, here's number one. Communicate with someone. Literally, and it doesn't have to be about that matter, but communicate with somebody. Express the words. Take an action, speak to someone, because my biggest challenge personally is I tend to isolate. I carry all those thoughts and then I isolate. And then we're talking about the cheesecake reference and wrap myself in a blanket and then I'll get to it later, because you're all by yourself and no one knows. And that's point two, which is talk to somebody, because someone can help you. Typically they can and they will. Whether it is encouraging you to take an action, motivating yourself to take an action. Oh, Chad Levine, what do we do on Mondays? Get your weekly
kick in the arse.
Right? And that works too. So by speaking to somebody is going to help you.
John, I love that. I love that.
Right? That's number one. I just did it.
And I'm gonna add to that as you do these. So my addition to that would be the reason why a third party is important is because that third party ain't in your head. It's John versus your brain, and you need that third party to be like, yo, brain, cut it out.
Just back off. Right. Right. I love that. That's the very first thing. And then the second thing I do is take some sort of an action. And often it's just show up. So it's like, make that phone call. Don't blow off the meeting that you've scheduled. Like for me, 12 noon today was a real cloudy post-Oscars, an hour time difference, a real easy meeting for me to blow off. I'm not. So it's show up, number 2. Honor your commitments, honor your word, number 3. Then literally take some sort of action. You can rethink where you want to head after you take an action. And so I'll repeat, which is talk to somebody, right? Allow them to provide feedback, whatever it is, encouragement, motivation, a push, a boot. Take some sort of an action and then recalibrate your thoughts. And now it's like, okay, so what am I doing next? Right? So those would be my top 4.
John, unscripted, off the cuff, like impressive stuff. And the reason is, guys, because he's a coach. He's got it programmed. He knows what you need. Yeah, he knows what you need. I'm gonna add some fun stuff to that. Okay.
Do it.
So here's what I do when I get super stressed. When the mind starts going awry, I watch some pretty junky television.
Give me an example.
So I'm a reality TV junkie.
Yeah. Give me an example.
New Jersey Housewives, the Housewives of New Jersey. Guys, I'm telling you, it is the most ridiculous crap I've ever seen.
Oh, the wedding's coming soon.
I've been obsessed with Teresa Giudice's what's the word? Self implosion since she began. She is a walking disaster, and it's the best television ever.
Buddy, you just made me so happy. Hey, here's mine, by the way, to just be right there with you. So mine, and it's scary obsession with Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. Team Ariana.
You know what else I'm into, John? What? So Netflix has all these different dating shows.
Oh,
have you seen Love is Blind?
No.
John, I'm telling you, John, I'm telling you. So here's the premise. The premise is they fall in love strictly on conversation. They can't see each other until they've proposed. And then they do a pseudo like up until the wedding, like romance. Right. And then they have to make a decision in 4 weeks whether or not they will propose. And it is riveting. It is riveting television. You will be glued to it. I am obsessed with it. Okay. And listen, we could go on and on because John and I are pop culture junkies.
What that does in terms of pivoting or shifting your mindset after you're done with Teresa and her wedding plans, and I was going to call it Love After Lockup, which is another one that I know. Yeah. Don't ask me any questions on that, but right. So what do you do after?
Well, here's the important thing, right? Mm-hmm. This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to cut off the pain signal. That's what you're trying to do. Pain is a sensation. I'm going to use some physiology here, guys. Okay. Right. Pain is only as good as when you feel it, right? Mm-hmm. When you dampen that sensation of pain, whether it's drugs or whatever the hell else it is, right? You don't feel the pain anymore. Mm-hmm. This is the same thing. So some people might use productivity to cut off the pain. I don't. I actually use something that's fun and enjoyable, whether it's a show or it's music or going for a walk or hanging out with my kids, something that lets me say, all right, right now you're going to the extreme. You're going to the extreme. The world's ending. Everything's over. You're going to die. Blah, 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 blah. Right? We know that's poppycock. It's just your mind's going nuts. You're like on the Ferris wheel. All right. We got to get you off that Ferris wheel. Right? To get you off that Ferris wheel, we are going to come up with something. How do kids get off a Ferris wheel? Cotton candy, right? Balloons, cotton candy. Let's think about it. Anything that diverts your mind. So do something. I don't care if you eat the friggin' chocolate bar. I'm not a friggin' doctor, guys. I'm trying to help your mind, not your belly. I don't care what you do. Get off the Ferris wheel. Take a break. Once that's over, you now have what I call neutralized. When you've neutralized, you can allow the currency, the thought of the positive to take over, right? If you can do that, now you can be productive. So that's how it works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but that's how it works for me.
That's beautiful because it's I was going to call it a harmless action, but some of those are actually positive. They're not, you know what I mean? Like hanging out with your kid. And you said hanging out with your kids. And it's like, it's sometimes a simple diversion or a pivot. Using the cotton candy example, right? Oh,
cut that pain. Cut that pain. Yeah.
And then you go to a now what am I going to do? I love that you also said some people, look, I come from a place of recovery. I get that. I did that. That wasn't helpful for me for a lot of years. Mine was alcohol, right? And so now I don't have that as an option, or I choose not to have that as an option, but it doesn't mean there aren't other diversions. I think if I heard you correctly, the best thing that we could do here is you pick the diversion. Make certain it's something that is not harmful. Nothing that you offered was harmful. Some of them are great. Go out, take a walk, hang with your kids is beautiful. Hang out with Teresa Giudice, I don't know, in limited doses. Unless you're on her good side.
Listen to some stupid music. Right? Like, I get into, and it's funny, like I look back at the things that have helped me through certain things in life, and music. Like, it's funny, like you'll start listening to music and the lyrics and getting to the gym. I mean, there's so many things. Some people like the gym. I used to love the gym when I was in shape. I hate the gym when I'm out of shape. What can I tell you?
That's where I am right now. And folks, as one more thing, which is I coach this, which is you can do short situational hacks. I just coached last Sunday with St. Elizabeth's University baseball team. And one of the things that we talked about was literally in utilizing the Navy SEALs breathing technique. It takes 16 seconds to pull you out of a box breathing technique, combining it with a thought of what the hell have you done good in your life?
And John, that's the other thing, right? Yeah. It's becoming conscious of your mind. That's what it is, right?
Conscious aware, right?
When your mind starts spinning and you're off the cuff, right? You have to be able to step back and say, whoa, crazy. Like, whoa, crazy, right? And you can do that. See, the more important message is not that you don't know that it's going on. Because you do know that it's going on. You're like, oh, shit, I'm spinning. I'm going nuts, right? You know it. That's not the key here. The key here is how do you fix it? How do you fix that? It's not just being present, the knowing. Of course, number one is, hey, I'm spinning, as opposed to let me follow the crazy line of thinking. So step one is don't follow the crazy line of thinking.
For an extended period. Look, you want to ride a Ferris wheel, so to speak. You want the cotton candy, so to speak. You want a piece of the cheese, go do it. But for me, it's be aware of it. And then when are you? It's not just knowing you need to come out of it. It's when. What's the diversion? Is it right now? Before we go too deep, too nuts? Great. Do some sort of a simple mindset hack to get you to do something.
Mindset hack.
It's a mindset hack to get you to do something.
Love it.
It's other than sitting wrapped in a blanket, worried about X or Y,
And John, that's it's not only doing it, it's knowing what works and pre-planning the hack, right? And why do you pre-plan it? You pre-plan it because you want to be able to get out. You know what works, get out of it. So literally, what's going to work. Okay, I'm going nuts, right? Like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the best example.
Please.
Okay, restless sleep. Right?
Oh, God,
restless sleep. 90% of people watching this show deal with it. 90. I bet it's even more. More.
Oh,
Restless sleep. You got to get up. You got to go do something. I don't care if you watch Giudice. I don't care if you walk to the fridge. I don't care what you do. I don't care what it is, but you got to get up and do something. And I learned this about myself. When my motor starts going, my mental motor starts going, I get up and move. I do something. And 9 times out of 10, I'm able to then put myself back and pass out and relax again, and that's important.
So it's that short-term hack we keep coming back to, right? Yeah. The awareness that it's happening. Okay, I got to get out of this. How? The pre-planning you just said, which I love. Have some sort of a hack at the ready. If it's sleeping and to get up. For me, I literally feel that in the legs. They call it restless leg syndrome. I feel it in the legs when I'm restless and sleeping.
Yeah.
Get up and read a couple of pages, which is exactly what I don't feel like doing. I just don't.
Yeah.
Big drag, and I would rather just lay in that pile of gross, but it's like instead, right? It's just get up, read a couple of pages. I don't know if I get to the second page where I'm like, okay, I'm cool, and then go back and then sleep. So it is simply a matter of do something that's going to help you. But
I love that lay in the pile of gross. I don't think I'll forget you literally wrapped in a blanket eating the cheesecake. That's my
more real than a fantasy.
But look, guys, and let me tell you something, and let's go back to the most important part, which of course, figure it out, have a pre-plan, all that. And these are not plugs to hire coaches. It's not, but it's more for you to know that you have help. Okay, a coach is a good thing to have when you need help. Okay?
Exactly.
It's a good thing to have. If you need someone to lean on, if it's late, you can send them an email. If you're me, I'll be awake anyway, so whatever.
But you get the email.
Yeah, but the reality is it's important for you guys to have it. It's really important. Have that outlet. John, man, we dropped some heavy nuggets today.
I'll say I felt great about that, brother. You set the table beautifully. So where are we going to leave today? For instance, I'll speak for me. Like I said, for myself, I already shared what is it that I intend to do, which is I intend to make certain that people are aware of what I do. What will I do to do that? The easiest, right away. It's like my top 5. It's like, who am I reaching out to on LinkedIn? DM with something relevant to say, not torturing them with a 5-paragraph. Hey, did you know? Something relevant to say. 5 people. That's it. 5, just do 5. And I'm speaking for me. Do 5, John. Do 5. You can do that on Instagram and you do it. And then here's part 2 for me. And then get the hell off of social media.
Yeah.
That's the other is don't get fixated for me. Number 1, the 5 is 555 for me. It's Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Then it's get the hell off so I'm not sitting ruminating on how many people like my post, like me, think I'm cute, think I'm this, and think myself into doing nothing. And that's part 2. Get the hell off and then do something else.
Listen, I dig that. I agree with you, man. I think at this point, no matter what I'm doing, it's spending too much time doing one specific thing.
Right.
I think it's like you got to move. You got to move and shake, and you got to realize that when you start to worry, it's because you're trying to worry. You're not doing anything to buy your time. So in between closing loans, in between talking to realtors, in between helping clients, that dead time is danger. Stay the F out of danger.
That should be the post and quote of the week. Stay the F out of danger. That's perfect. All right. Do you think we've helped enough people with this immediate?
Dude, I'm telling you, this is it's funny, guys. Our most nutrient-rich shows come from the least scripted stuff. Right. And I hope people start. Jason, I need you. We need reels, man. We need
that's exactly 1,000% right.
We need to start cutting this stuff up. We need people to be like, yo, what?
Exactly. All of this, as I said, with an hour less of sleep post Oscars, and we got to pull all this up. So, folks, we are wrapping up today. This is John Duffin here, Duffin Media. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Your Monday Motivation, where our superstar lender partner, Chad Levine, gets to give you
your weekly kick in the arse.
Boom. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Keep checking us out. Keep liking, telling your friends, tell your mom. Have a great day. We will see you soon.